Yeah, he actually told us that story when we were in the preseason game against Arizona, because that's where it happened at. And I think it's anything any kicker can take to heart. You're going to miss kicks. It's part of the game. It sucks when you do. But fortunately for Seabass, he bounced back and did well, and that's what I'm looking to do. Just get back on the practice field, start hitting balls the way I know how, and hopefully the rest will take care of itself.
Was this a product of not kicking much in the first season? You think
I'm never going to make an excuse for why I made or missed a kick, because there really is no excuse. I missed it, and so whether I had time or not, it really is irrelevant. I just got to go out there and do my job.
How do you mentally keep yourself in the game, especially when your coaches come to you and say, we need you to attempt this 60-yarder?
I mean, you want those kicks. Why not? I mean, I have the ability to make it. Obviously, I didn't. Wasn't my best day, and that's life. You just got to keep your head in the game. I mean, you're not going to quit. No one's going to feel sorry for yourself, and so you go out there and you swing hard and do your best, and that's all you can ask for.
Did you ever have something in college or your professional career or anything like that where you're like, I got through it, I've got to get through this one?
Yeah, unfortunately, more times than I'd like to admit. You know, anytime you miss a kick, you're going to feel that way, no matter what the circumstances is, because you go out there to be successful, and when you don't fulfill or live up to those expectations, it's going to hurt. And you know, the good ones learn from their mistakes, and you move on. It's the way it is.
How are you feeling physically? Like toward the end of camp, you might have had a quad, and obviously coming off the back surgery. How are you feeling physically?
I feel fine. I mean, I'm physically able to kick, and so that's all. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Can I kick? Yes.
They brought in another kickers, and you know this is a tough business. So how do you mentally prepare for that when you got someone waiting in the wings in case something happens?
Yeah. I mean, I would be surprised if they didn't. I mean, that was a bad game. No skirting around that. But I think everyone in this organization wants to win, and so whether there's a kicker here or not doesn't affect what I do. I mean, I'm still going to go out there and practice, get my reps, and put my best foot forward, and it's the same for everybody else. I mean, it's just kickers are usually only one, and so that's just the way it is.
I mean, I know you said you have the ability to kick, but does the quad feel bothering you at all, or is that gone?
No, I'm fine.
Did anyone come up to you in the locker room afterwards and sort of give you a pep talk? Because to your point, you are only one as it relates to that position.
Yeah, a lot of guys on the team came up, and they understand what it's like to be a kicker, and so there's nothing really that no one was being negative, I would say. Myself mainly, because I mean, it hurts. I think it hurts me the most, more than anybody. I don't think anyone wants to make the kicks more than I do. So.
Joe, you mentioned on 6-year that you want those opportunities. Chris McCarthy said after the game that he put you in that opportunity because he had the confidence. What does it mean when the coach is sending that message to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome that they have that confidence in me to make them. I mean, I've showed I can make them. It just didn't happen that time, but I look forward to getting more of those chances.
When you go back and studied the 31-yarder, and I suppose also the PAT, what were your conclusions from that analysis?
There's a lot of kicker stuff I could bore you with, but it just didn't go in.
So Thursday obviously was a game. How soon after did you get back onto the field and resume kicking?
On Sunday. Just you take a day off, and then to feel good, then come in, do treatment, do rehab stuff, and then get back to it.
What was your focus when you were with your coach on Sunday?
Just doing what I would normally do to be ready to kick. You just take your normal steps. You don't have to overthink anything. You've done this a long time. You know what you're doing. You just need to hit a cleaner ball. And so it's really just getting those as many reps as possible in during the week.
So you stay away from Twitter?
I don't have any social media. I don't let my kids have any of that. There's nothing good can come from social media in life, regardless of football. So.
I think John had mentioned that you were here this summer while the family was not. Kind of talking about that as an example of how committed you were to the rehab process. How is it different, if at all, from what your usual off-season routine would be?
Well, normally I would go back home with my family and spend my time with them. You know, then you get a kick, at my high school and do everything that involves with that, but it was just different this year because I was here doing all the stuff that was required of me here, and so just being away from the family and then not kicking at all, just to make sure the body was right before we get into the kicking.
What went into that decision to do the rehab here? It's just the resources are better.
Yep. All the staff is here. You're set up to be successful here in regards to the rehab, and so why not?
Kicking, like anything in the sport, is a physical exercise, but there's also such a huge mental component to it. When a game like that happens on Thursday, you're not going to Twitter, you're not checking social media, but what do you turn to, be it a person or just yourself? Like, how do you kind of proceed from there?
I mean, in what regards? As to
coach that you speak to, is there a certain, like how do you kind of mentally get back on track?
Gotcha. Sorry. Well, you start by, for me personally, I go in and watch the film, figure out what it is I was doing, break it down nice and slow, and then the mental part is probably the harder part, is just realizing that the world isn't ending. I did poorly. I understand that, but I'm still alive. God woke me up in the morning. The sun rose. Life goes on, and no one feels worse about missing than me. And so I have to get that fixed, but just some slight perspective.
Mentally, when did you turn that page?
Probably on Sunday, once I started kicking again. It just really is, sits with you. But then once you get a kick, that helps. But I don't think it ever really goes away until the next game, I would say, once you have actually moved on as a team and as a player.
Did it feel strange having fans back in the stands kicking? I mean, did that add more to the moment? Because last year they weren't there, so this first game back with a huge crowd like that.
Yeah, it was great having fans. I mean, last year, all the games felt like a practice. I mean, our home games, we had a little bit of fans, which was awesome. I think we were one of the only teams, and so that was awesome having the limited amount of fans that we have, but having a stadium full was, that's the way it should be. I enjoyed it.
How do you do that mental recovery, I guess, whatever you want to say? Do you think back to your makes, your long career? Like, how do you just kind of build yourself back up?
I don't think you have to really think about your makes or really your misses. You just go back to your routine, and your routine is everything. You have a plan, you stick to the plan. It's a process. You don't just throw everything out the window because something didn't go your way. And so, you just stay the course.